Today we're going to be going over the vocabulary for Anthem chapters 6 and 7. You should have your graphic organizer from class today. Again, as a reminder, I want you to copy down the word, the part of speech, and the definition that's provided. I have underlined the most important part of the definition that you definitely want to capture. You are also going to want to write down an example or sketch out an example. It can be the example that I provide or one that you think of on your own. In addition, tonight, after you've taken your notes, I also want you to jot down at least one synonym and one antonym for each of our vocabulary terms. Let's go ahead and quickly begin. Our first word is the word detention. You've all heard the word detention. Nobody wants to get detention at school. Detention is a noun. If we look at the different word parts, we see the prefix D, which means removal. We also notice the suffix ION, which lets us know that this is going to be a noun. It's a condition. So if we look at the definition, it's a period of temporary custody or confinement while awaiting trial. Now, when we think at school, we don't think about going to court or to trial, but we still think about a specific temporary amount of time when you have to be in a confined space. Some derivatives of the word detention are going to be the verbs detain, detained, detaining. An example that I thought of for detention, besides school detention, was the movie The Breakfast Club. This was one of my favorite movies when I was growing up. I probably watched it 100 times, but it was about a group of high school students who all had Saturday school detention. Some of you guys, when you were kids, maybe you loved watching SpongeBob. Again, nobody's ever happy if they have to serve detention. Our second word is the word illustrious. Illustrious is an adjective. Again, you'll notice that I underlined some of the word parts here. The prefix IL is actually a variant of the prefix IN, which means not or into, on, near. It has a few different meanings. You notice that the suffix OUS is also underlined. That indicates to us as readers that this is going to be an adjective. It's a describing word. Illustrious means well-known. So thinking about that prefix il and how one of its meanings means in or into, I kind of feel like this is like the in person, the in crowd. They're well known. They're very distinguished. Some derivatives of illustrious is the word illustriously. So that would be our adverb describing somebody's action. Or illustriousness, the noun. When I was trying to think of an example of someone that was illustrious, two things popped into my mind. Malala popped into my mind because she recently won the Nobel Peace Prize, so that shows that she's distinguished, she's illustrious, she's being recognized not only for her bravery, but also for her ability to write and convey her experiences. And of course, I thought about the military, and you can see this man has obviously had a very illustrious career in the military. He has several ribbons and medals to show for it. Our third word is the word collective. In Anthem, equality lives in a collective society. Collective is an adjective. It means assembled into a whole, or a number of people who act as one group. If we break apart the word collective, we notice the prefix COL, which is actually a variation of the prefix COM, which means that with or together. And so if you think about the meaning of this, it's with other people. You're acting as one together as a group. And it has the suffix IVE, which is either going to be a noun or an adjective. In this case, it's an adjective. It's trying to show that it has a quality of something. So it's the quality of being together as one. Some other derivatives are collectively or collectiveness. And the example, I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this team builder. I know I've done this several times. It's the human knot, where you have to work as one, kind of be one group together. Our fourth word is the word infamy. Infamy is a noun. we see that prefix in, which we know means not. And if we look at the definition, it means evil fame or a reputation as a result of shameful, criminal, or outrageous act. So I kind of even look at the derivative, infamous, and I look at it as not famous or not famous for a good reason. It's evil fame, shameful fame. And in thinking about infamy, there were a lot of examples that kind of came to my mind, but one that stood out thinking about history was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. When President Roosevelt spoke to the people of the United States after Pearl Harbor was bombed, one of his most famous quotes that he said was December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. Essentially, he was saying this day will live in evil fame. We'll always remember it, but we're not remembering it because of a good thing or a positive thing. We're remembering it because of the horrible nature of this event. Number 5 is the word solidarity. We see the prefix sol or S-O-L, which normally means alone or acting as one. This is a noun. When you have solidarity, you have a union of interests or a group of interests, purpose, and sympathies that arise from common responsibilities or common ideals. And when I think of solidarity, the thing that I think of first is I think about a group of people who come together to protest something. They have the same interests. They're coming from the same ideas. So you'll see this is a particular picture that I found. This is a picture from one of the occupation movements that was occurring several years back. You can see that people are all joining together. These are people from different backgrounds. You see different ages, different ethnicities, but they all have one common purpose. They have solidarity. They are together to really fight and stand up for one thing. Number 6 is the word boon. This is a noun. It's something to be thankful for. It's a blessing or a benefit. And when I was trying to search for an image to represent boon, I found a ton of images that ask the question, technology, is it a boon or bane? Bane being, is it something horrible? So is it something we should be thankful for? Or is it something that we should resist and shy away from because it's an evil thing? We know that technology is all around us. And obviously a little baby having a cell phone and having their earpiece, that would definitely probably be a bane. But thinking about school and how you're able to use technology, we might consider that a boon. I consider that a boon. It's something I'm thankful for. I feel like that is a blessing for students to be able to have access to that technology. Number 7 is the word corruption. You'll notice that there are actually 3 word parts here. We have the prefix cor, which means with or together. We have the root rupt, which means to break, and then we have the suffix ion, which tells us that this is going to be a noun. Corruption means a state of immorality, depravity, or contamination. If somebody is corrupt, that's not a good thing. We're saying that they're actually a bad person. They don't have morals. They don't have values. Some derivatives of the noun corruption are corrupt, corruptible, corruptibility, corruptibleness, corruptibility. Oops, that's there twice. But you get the gist. When we say corrupt, we're not talking about a good thing. So thinking about Anthem, thinking about their society, do you think it's corrupt? Do you think that there are a certain group of people that hold all the power over the people? An image of this, you see here that you have 2 men who are standing together. One man is kind of passing some money along. A lot of times you'll hear about government officials or people in power that might be corrupt or have corruption because they're looking out for themselves. They're looking at what they can gain personally versus looking out for the whole or the people. Number 8 is the word solitude. Again, we see that word sol, which means alone. This is a noun. It means the state of being or living alone in seclusion. So when I think of solitude, I think of somebody who is just maybe all by themselves. They need to have that solitude, that time to just be reflective and be by themselves. And our last word for today is the word redemption. So redemption is a noun. It means deliverance or rescue, salvation. We notice that there is the prefix re, which means back or again. We see the suffix ion, which tells us that this is going to be a noun. And really, when I think about redemption, I think about somebody who's really looking to go back and make amends. In a way, it's almost like they're trying to atone themselves. That was one of our other vocabulary words. They're seeking that forgiveness, that not only forgiveness, but that ability to, I can prove myself yet again. I can be saved. Some derivatives are redeem, redemptive, and redemptory. So thinking about an image for redemption, I couldn't help but think about the movie The Shawshank Redemption. This is a picture of him when he is out really looking like, please, can I go back? Can I be saved? Can I go back to my life and have good things happen once again? If any of you have never watched the movie The Shawshank Redemption, maybe you are interested in reading the book The Shawshank Redemption. It's by Stephen King. That would be a great independent reading book to read. When I think of this picture, though, I'm a huge Giants fan. I couldn't help but think about the 2012 Giants and Marco Scutaro and the long career that he had and how the win was really a redemption for him. His entire career had a redemption in that moment. Please make sure you have all of your notes.